Good day, everyone. Today, we actually invited a very special guest who is the president and founder for First Avenue Investment, also the president and the founder for Emblem Development, Kash Pashootan. He's actually a very special person that I actually follow him on Business News Network all the time, and very a savvy investor in the industry. And now we got lucky to invite him to talk about his projects. Kash, I'm going to pass it over to you. Can you tell us about yourself and Emblem Development?
Sure, Shan. Thanks. It's good to be here with you today. As you mentioned, my background is in the investment management industry. Myself and my own team have been managing investment portfolios for wealthy families for over 20 years now. And so we spend a lot of our time uncovering opportunities in different asset classes, in stocks, in bonds, and in real estate as well. And that'll tie into some of the opportunity we see with Hamilton and One Jarvis. But that's my background, and we continue to do that as well. Emblem is really our private equity arm of First Avenue, and this is where the developments happen. One of the things that's very unique about Emblem is that it's very well capitalized because it has the financial backing of First Avenue. And so this is important, especially as buyers are looking at developers and wanting to make sure that what they purchase will actually get built. When we were looking at launching Artform in the summer, we were looking at it at around February, March of 2020. And at that time was when COVID was really just coming out. And we weren't sure what the summer would hold in terms of being able to launch. We were prepared to do what I don't believe has ever happened in Toronto before, which was to build the condominium without any pre-sales, because we have the capital, the financial strength to do that. And I think that's very important. Now, obviously, it ended up not being the case because things opened up, and Artform was one of the most successful launches of 2020. But the point is that as buyers look at One Jarvis, they have the assurance and the security of knowing that Emblem is very well capitalized. And I think that's important. The other thing I would say about Emblem is that we have one of the most active pipelines of any developer in the GTA. So right now we have 2 years of launches already set. And are actively acquiring new development sites.
Yeah, I saw your pipeline. The list was like that long. We're looking forward to your pipeline of projects for this coming year, also next year as well. Can you talk a little bit about your pipeline and the process that you're going to be launching?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. So with One Jarvis, what we're launching, I won't spend too much on that because I know we're going to talk about it later. But I will say that in the Hamilton market, where we see the greatest opportunities compared to all of the markets that we're in addition to One Jarvis, we have close to 1 million square feet in residential development that we're doing as we speak. And that is located approximately 5-minute walk from where One Jarvis is. So very, very close. And that will be important for One Jarvis buyers because as every new phase that we release, prices will go higher and higher and higher. So our pipeline has us heavily invested in Hamilton. Our next launch will be Artform 2, which will be about 400 meters away from Artform 1, downtown Mississauga, Cooksville, located right by the Cooksville Mobility Hub, the same as Artform 1. From there, we go to Leaside. We have 2 buildings, boutique mid-rise buildings that we're doing right in the heart of Leaside, right across from the RioCan redevelopment that's going to take place. So buyers there will have access to the best new dining and entertainment as well. Then we go to high rise again. We have a downtown site on King Street East, right downtown Toronto, which will be a tower, Point Tower, which we're very excited about. In addition to that, we have some other sites that are a little bit premature for me to share that we have under contract and are closing on. But it's a very active pipeline. And for us, any building we do is really about having a long-term view, because we know that these projects will all be very important showpieces for future work that we do. So it's about a lot more than just one building for us.
Yeah, we actually participated selling the Form 1. It was a great success, and I really look forward to the launch of our Form 2. And now, speaking of One Jarvis, we all know that it's actually located in Hamilton. It has been the city of attention recently. It's the population growing, it's really fast. I don't live in Hamilton myself. I used to live in Mississauga, so I drove around the area a lot. I personally realized that in the city of Hamilton, there's really not a lot of condos, not a lot of choices for people. A lot of houses, a lot of traditional older style houses, like those little detached houses, but not a lot of choices for condo living. So I think for One Jarvis, a condo like this, a very high-end condo that's going into the market, it's going to draw a lot of attention.
Yeah, no, and that's well said. You know, what's interesting about Hamilton is that buyers have the ability to invest alongside the government, essentially. And anytime you invest alongside the government, it tends to work out well. And what I mean by that is the government is investing $500 million right in the downtown core of where One Jarvis will be. And in addition to that, they're investing $140 million to redo the harbor front, the waterfront. So that's a significant investment. And we've seen in other investments or in other asset classes what happens when the government steps in. It really pushes prices higher, right? Whether it's the stock market being stimulated by the government and going higher, or it's the bond market. Again, anytime the government is involved, it tends to bode very well for investors. So the unprecedented level of government investment makes Hamilton very, very unique. And One Jarvis is positioned right in the middle of where that $500 million is being invested. So buyers will be able to, within footsteps, access the best brand new dining, the best brand new entertainment, the best brand new shopping, all within footsteps. So this is turning into a project that buyers don't even need to drive because they'll have that proximity. But in addition to that, should they want to transport downtown or anywhere else, the Hamilton Go is 4 minutes away. So location-wise, it's excellent. And then, as you mentioned, the quality of the building is really setting a new standard, which is what we at Emblem look to do in every project. So it will be the highest standard finishes of any residential building. So when you put all of that together, this is why we call One Jarvis 2021's best investment, because it has all of the features that an end user would look for: location, quality, on the finishes, standard finishes, great layouts. And it also has the investment opportunities that an investor would look for in terms of price point and up and coming community.
That's a lot of information to digest. And speaking of the government, I think that's actually a very interesting point. Not just One Jarvis in Hamilton, I think also along Dundas and Hill, Ontario area, that's also not our neighborhood. Where the Afron condo is, that's where the government is investing into the city of Mississauga, right? So, I mean, I think all these projects are going to do phenomenally well. I personally is very confident on these projects.
Thank you. Yeah, with our background in investing over 20 years, we know what it looks like and what it feels like, what it tastes like to uncover opportunity. And that expertise that we have, we bring it to when we're acquiring sites. I think as we launch more and more projects, buyers see that we're very strategic in where we choose to do developments, and they tend to have high growth potential because obviously we're investors in these buildings as well. So we see all of that with Hamilton. What's interesting about the One Jarvis project as well is, as you mentioned with Artform, it was a great success. We sold almost 90% of the building in about 3 months' time. So it was a tremendous success. All of the finishes there on the exterior, on the interior, the standard finishes in the suites, all of that will be part of the package for One Jarvis. We haven't cut any corners or reduced the offering or changed the finishes. So it's the same standard we saw with Artform. And the reason I bring that up is because buyers at One Jarvis will be able to access units through yourself and your team for about $200 less per foot than we saw at Artform. So it's important because now buyers could see a path to appreciation in their investment because there's an example to point to, right? A proven example to point to, such as Artform, which is located next door, essentially, in Mississauga. And that's part of why there is such significant upside appreciation in our mind.
$200 price per square foot less. That's actually, I'm doing the math in my mind. It's actually a very, very good price. It sounds very attractive because I haven't seen $700, $800, $900 square foot in those markets from past few months. It's the condo nowadays. Even downtown Toronto, they're coming back. Multiple offers on the units on condos all over the places. So I think having the opportunity to work to be able to sell a project like this is actually a great honor. I think the project is going to do phenomenally well. No, I thought that was a question that I wanted to ask.
I was just going to say, and we feel the same way. Working with a group like yours, we saw it with Artform, how professional you and your team are, and how much you care about the clients that you represent. You guys ask a lot of questions. You go through a lot of detail, and we appreciate that because there's a lot of projects out there to sell, and the fact that you take that time to go through the projects. Really is something that we do when we design a project. So we appreciate that, and we're glad to work with you and the team, Shen, as a platinum broker that's going to have first access to these units.
Okay, thank you very much, Kash, for spending time and doing all the introduction to the project. Looking forward to sell the project. Looking forward to the big launch and success of selling the project. Thank you for coming.
Nice to see you today.